Ultra-processed foods now dominate the American diet, not just as an occasional indulgence, but as a core component of what we eat every day. Up to 70% of the U.S. food supply is made up of these products, engineered with ingredients that don't belong in a home kitchen and manufactured through industrial processes that strip away natural nutrients, replacing them with shelf-stable chemistry. That figure alone should raise alarm bells. This isn't just a matter of poor dietary habits. It's a structural, industrial-scale issue, and it is directly tied to the collapse of health in the United States. These foods aren't simply high in calories or low in nutrients. They're addictive by design. Hyperpalatable foods hit carefully calibrated levels of fat, sugar, sodium, and refined carbohydrates that overwhelm our brain's reward systems. These combinations don't exist in nature. They're manufactured to drive overeating, to make us crave more, buy more, eat more, and repeat. Dr. Tara Fazzino, who studies this phenomenon, describes it as a form of neurological hijacking. The very same mechanisms in our brains meant to ensure survival through food enjoyment are now being exploited for profit. Our neurobiology isn't built for this, and we are paying the price. We're not just talking about minor health concerns. Ultraprocessed foods have been linked to obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, stroke, depression, and even cognitive decline. They increase the risk of early death, and the science continues to evolve, pointing toward their potential role in disrupting the gut microbiome and weakening the immune system. These are not benign snacks or harmless meals. They are contributing to the slow breakdown of public health. Yet, despite mounting evidence, the food industry continues to defend these products. Trade organizations argue that the term ultraprocessed is too vague or unfair, that it stigmatizes foods many Americans rely on. But this deflection ignores the core issue. These foods are everywhere because they are profitable, not because they are safe. The defense that products meet FDA standards offers little reassurance. History is littered with substances once considered safe until long-term effects became undeniable, from trans fats to tobacco. The current standards are reactive, not protective. And the industries pushing ultra-processed foods are always several steps ahead of regulation. Researcher Dr. Kevin Hall's controlled trials have demonstrated that even when ultra-processed and minimally processed diets are nutritionally matched, people still consume about 500 more calories per day on the ultra-processed diet. The satiety signals in the brain just don't work the same. That's the power of hyperpalatability. It's not just about taste, it's about behavior manipulation. And here lies the danger. This is not just about personal choice. It's about systemic manipulation. These foods are engineered for overconsumption, and they are disproportionately marketed in low-income communities. They are cheap, ubiquitous, and increasingly inescapable. To pretend this is merely a matter of eating healthier ignores the broader reality. The food system in America is structured around mass-producing addiction in a wrapper. Even well-meaning labels like low-fat or lean have become traps. These terms often signal the removal of one ingredient and the quiet addition of another to maintain the hyperpalatable effect. Sugar replaces fat, sodium replaces flavor, and consumers are misled into thinking they're making healthier choices when they're really just trading one harmful combination for another. The consequences are not subtle. The United States is experiencing one of the steepest declines in life expectancy in modern history, driven largely by diet-related chronic diseases. The healthcare system is buckling under the weight of preventable illness, and it's all happening in slow motion, under the guise of convenience, cost-saving, and personal freedom. Let's stop pretending this is a problem that can be solved with personal willpower alone. You cannot discipline your way out of a food system built to override your biology. You cannot moderate a substance engineered for compulsion. Worse, we're raising children in an environment where hyperpalatable, ultra-processed foods are normalized. School lunches, after-school snacks, party treats, they're all saturated with chemicals that reinforce poor dietary patterns from an early age. And that programming can follow a person for life, increasing risk of disease before adulthood even begins. There's no easy fix. But the first step is awareness and a brutal honesty about the food we're eating. The deck is stacked against us. These foods are not just unhealthy. They are dangerous. They are addictive. And they are everywhere. If we do not address the systemic root of this crisis, not just as consumers, But as a society, we are walking blindly into a future where poor health is the norm, not the exception. We will continue to see rising healthcare costs, shrinking lifespans, and preventable suffering, all in the name of cheap, tasty, and fast. The ultra-processed food epidemic is not an individual failure. It is an industrial success story and a national public health disaster.